Hey adrenaline junkies, welcome to Police Pursuit. Today we launch a new, fresh series, When People Messed with the Wrong Cops. Every reckless choice flips on instant justice mode. Buckle up. Let's roll right now, folks. At approximately 11:20 a.m. on April 29, 2024, a black Dodge Charger was observed on I-275, traveling over 110 miles per hour in a 60 miles per hour zone. Once a unit got behind it, the driver escalated immediately, aggressively weaving across all lanes and pushing through traffic with extreme disregard for safety. When a traffic stop was initiated, the Charger surged past 130 miles per hour, reaching speeds near 150 miles per hour, pulling away while using the shoulder to pass vehicles. The vehicle later exited the interstate onto South Lois Avenue, ran a red light, and continued fleeing into a congested urban area. The situation turned chaotic when the suspect drove into oncoming lanes and attempted to squeeze between a box truck and a sedan, colliding with both. As the vehicle slowed and became unstable, the pursuing unit closed distance and executed a precise pit maneuver to the rear. The Charger immediately rotated, spun out, and came to a stop in the roadway. The occupants fled on foot in separate directions, prompting an immediate perimeter. A K-9 unit quickly located the driver hiding inside a garbage can nearby. This incident highlights that even at extreme speeds, control can be lost in an instant. And when a pit is executed at the right moment, escape ends just as quickly.
Can you call 911 for me, please? Thank you.
Rewind the sequence. Speed pushed to the limit, constant pressure and small errors stacking up. Once control starts to break, a well-timed pit is all it takes to end it. Not a single moment, but the result of sustained breakdown until recovery is no longer possible. On June 7, 2025 in Rutherford County, an urgent alert was issued. An armed robbery suspect was on the run. Units were quickly deployed, and the situation escalated almost immediately. The pursuit began as a silver vehicle sped through busy streets at high speed. Escape routes were systematically shut down while radio traffic continuously updated movements. Reports of gunfire near a railroad area significantly elevated the threat, forcing multiple key roads into lockdown. The situation intensified as the suspect moved into a maritime district. Radio traffic surged as EMS, fire, and law enforcement units converged.
Police, fire, EMS. What's our emergency? This is Amanda. Do you need police, fire, EMS? All right, I am to help. I am updating your location so I can see exactly where you are. Okay, I do have you on the Tennessee River.
Shortly after, the suspect abandoned the vehicle, fled on foot, and barricaded inside a building. SWAT established a perimeter and opted for controlled tactics and negotiation rather than a direct assault. The suspect was ultimately taken into custody without further injuries. The outcome highlights a critical point. In the most volatile situations, control and composure, not speed or force, determine how it ends. At approximately 1913 on May 10, 2021, the vehicle initially stopped for a check but suddenly accelerated and fled, refusing to comply. The sedan quickly created distance, leading to a prolonged high-speed pursuit. After some distance, aggressive control inputs at high speed caused the vehicle to lose stability. It veered off the roadway and drove straight into an open dirt area, where traction was nearly non-existent on the soft surface.
Down the hill, take me in Roosevelt, 30 West.
Freeway, you guys are now 1063, Brandon 37, 1037, taking Roosevelt from 30 West.
Seizing the moment, the pursuing trooper closed in and delivered a strong pit maneuver to the rear. The impact on the loose terrain effectively locked the vehicle in place. Even as it stopped, the wheels kept spinning, throwing water and mud in place with no traction. Moments later, units moved in quickly, weapons drawn, issuing clear commands for the suspect to exit. The driver was taken into custody within seconds with no opportunity to resist or continue fleeing.
Oh, they on you? Okay. I'm in. All right, go put your hands behind your back for me, okay?
Around 8:25 p.m. on Wednesday in Niles, a trooper stopped a red Kaya for a broken brake light. But a routine check quickly escalated when the driver, Joshua Ringel, 32, was found to have an active warrant and began resisting officers.
Get out of the crowd! Go around.
As deputies attempted to restrain him and deployed a taser, the situation spiraled. Ringel suddenly pulled out a firearm, jumped back into the car, and sped off, triggering a high-speed pursuit toward Indiana with sirens screaming behind him.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Drop the fucking gun! Drop the fucking gun right now! Drop it! Drop the gun!
Down the way. Go.
Testing now, over.
Come in.
By around 8:40 p.m. in South Bend, as officers prepared spike strips, the fleeing vehicle slammed into a patrol car. The impact brought everything to a sudden halt, but only for a moment as Ringel bailed out and ran toward the St. Joseph River. A large-scale search unfolded in the dark. Drones, K-9 units, and SWAT combed the riverbank until he was found deceased at the base of the embankment. There was no pit, no tactical stop, just a chain of escalating decisions that ended in an irreversible outcome.
Look at that guy, gunpoint!
What at gunpoint?
Officer down, officer down!
Officer down.
On February 6, 2022 in Catoosa County, authorities received reports that a stolen police SUV from Chattanooga had crossed state lines onto Interstate 75. Units quickly set up along GA 151, and when the vehicle appeared, it was immediately identified as the stolen unit. Without hesitation, the driver accelerated southbound at extreme speeds. The SUV weaved aggressively between lanes, hugging the shoulder as the tires screeched for grip. Tension escalated further when officers learned a rifle was inside the vehicle, raising the stakes of every second in the pursuit. At one narrow section, a trooper attempted a quick pit, briefly kicking the SUV sideways, but the driver recovered and kept going. As traffic ahead began to clear, the opportunity to end it emerged. A trooper closed in from the rear left, maintaining a tight gap before decisively executing pit. The precise impact sent the rear of the SUV swinging out, spinning across multiple lanes before sliding to a stop on the shoulder. The door flew open and the suspect, Christopher Edward Parker, ran into a nearby wooded area, but the escape was short-lived. K-9 units quickly tracked him down and he was taken into custody. No injuries were reported, reinforcing a clear lesson. The more reckless the escape, the more inevitable the outcome.
Watch him. We got him. We got him.
Say just like that, don't
You got it. Good job.
After being spotted, the stolen Dodge Charger immediately accelerated and fled, triggering a high-speed pursuit. The car surged forward aggressively, cutting between lanes, squeezing through traffic, and trying to shake the patrol units closing in behind. The chase stretched on, speed climbing as both sides pushed the limits. The Charger swayed under sharp lane changes, tires fighting for grip, yet it kept moving. Meanwhile, officers held formation, staying patient and waiting for the right moment to act. When traffic ahead finally began to thin and the distance was fully closed, the opportunity came. One unit moved in from behind, lined it up, and executed pit. The precise contact broke the car's balance. The rear swung out, the vehicle spun across the roadway, and came to a stop. The moment it stopped, Kamari Jackson and his accomplices bailed out and ran, but were quickly caught after a short foot chase. In a separate incident, Shane Jensen also fled at extreme speeds, only for the escape to end abruptly when a tire blew out after hitting a nail. The lesson remains the same: the longer the run, the closer the outcome. On January 31st, 2024, a driver reported a white Nissan Rogue traveling southbound on I-75, with the driver appearing to hold what looked like an AK-style rifle out of the window. The potential threat was taken seriously, prompting law enforcement to quickly locate the vehicle. Officers soon spotted the SUV near mile marker 115 and attempted a traffic stop. Instead of pulling over, the driver accelerated and fled. The vehicle surged forward, weaving aggressively through traffic, even using the shoulders, pushing speeds past 130 miles per hour and forcing other drivers to brake hard to avoid collisions. As the pursuit approached Pine Ridge Road, heavier traffic ahead forced the Nissan to slow. Seizing the moment, a trooper moved in close and executed pit, a precise strike to the rear that instantly broke the vehicle's control, bringing the high-speed chase to a stop. With the SUV disabled, the driver, Adler Telfort, surrendered without resistance. A search revealed only toy guns and a marijuana joint inside. He was taken into custody. Another case where a perceived threat escalated into a dangerous pursuit with real consequences.
Wildest, just because we have it in the camera, it looks like the vehicle has an overpass via camera.
On June 8, 2021, around 4:06 p.m. in Troup County, Trooper Moore set up ahead as a black BMW sped southbound on I-185. The driver was quickly identified as Kevin Caldwell, and the situation immediately escalated. Heavy rain poured down, turning the roadway slick and unforgiving. Still, the BMW pushed past 115 miles per hour, slicing through the downpour. Water sprayed from the tires as the car began to drift slightly, every movement inching closer to losing control. Seizing the moment, Moore closed in and executed Pitt. The first strike was nearly perfect, but Caldwell slammed the brakes and managed to hold control. Moore reset and went again. Pitt was deployed a second time, yet the driver adjusted once more, leaving the vehicle unstable but not fully spun. The pursuit ended at the Macon Road exit when the BMW crossed the median, lost control, and crashed into another vehicle. As officers approached, Caldwell raised a firearm, forcing Moore to fire in self-defense. Rain continued to fall as the scene was secured, a reminder that not every pursuit ends as planned, but every reckless choice brings the outcome closer.
That's clear. All units get forward, driver down.
1022 right there, 1022 right there, right there, down in the gravity.
On November 11, 2023, an officer clocked a gray Lincoln SUV speeding 59 miles per hour in a 40 miles per hour zone on North W Street. The moment emergency lights flashed on, the driver chose to run, punching the gas, cutting through traffic, and snapping sharp turns in a desperate attempt to disappear. In the chaos, the SUV nearly struck a pedestrian, pushing the danger to the edge. The pursuit surged through nearby streets, speeds climbing past 80 miles per hour. The vehicle weaved violently, tires fighting for grip as it threaded through narrow gaps. But the distance began to shrink. Unit by unit, officers closed in near neighbor's place. Then, the decision. Pit. A clean, controlled hit to the rear corner. Instantly, the SUV lost balance and spun hard across the roadway and crashed into a metal gate, ending the chase in a burst of twisted metal and dust. The driver bolted the second the vehicle stopped, but it didn't last. K9 Colt was deployed and quickly brought him down. Inside the vehicle, officers found cocaine and a digital scale. The suspect, LeBaron Deegshan-Britt, was taken into custody, proof that no matter how fast you run, the outcome only gets heavier. Clayton County, Georgia. Black Hawk units were patrolling the Conley area when they spotted a vehicle that had been reported stolen just hours earlier. the suspect vehicle merged onto I-285, and when deputies initiated a traffic stop, the driver chose to flee, kicking off a high-speed pursuit.
Pursuit. Ready, I'll be in pursuit. Jones called.
As the chase continued onto Interstate 75, deputies observed the suspect driving erratically and dangerously. Seizing a gap in traffic, they quickly executed a precision immobilization technique, PIT, sending the vehicle spinning into the concrete median and bringing it to a stop. The armed suspect was apprehended without injury or further resistance.
Stand by for the pit. Pit! Woo! Crashed into the wall. Crashed into the wall. We're right before the Terra Road. I'm at Terra Boulevard. Hold traffic.
After his arrest, the suspect claimed he thought the Clayton County Sheriff's Office had a no-chase policy and believed he could simply drive away. Deputies corrected that misconception, stating, "Not only are they authorized to pursue, but they are also trained and cleared to end chases quickly by forcing fleeing vehicles off the road to protect the public." While patrolling northbound on I-75 near I-285, ITFC Dawson, number 584, observed a silver Ford Focus making multiple lane changes without signaling and following too closely. I paced the vehicle at 88 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone and noted its tinted tag cover made the plate hard to read. When I attempted a traffic stop, the driver abruptly changed lanes and fled.
YDL 160 Georgia. And you can show me
The suspect drove recklessly, swerving through traffic, nearly hitting other vehicles, and entered the HOV lane without a passenger. Speeds exceeded 100 miles per hour as he ignored traffic laws. Near Cleveland Avenue, the suspect exited onto Georgia 166, made an unsafe lane change, lost control, hit an embankment, and overturned.
He took lane break. All right, 1050 overturn, start EMS. 1050 overturn EMS, please. 125 northbound, ramp to 166. Ramp to 166.
I approached with my weapon drawn and gave commands, but there was no response. Once backup arrived, we found the driver had died from crash-related injuries. The vehicle was later towed by South Metro Towing,